best thing about baseball is that, there's a game every day, so you can, there's a whole new storyline that develops. The worst part about baseball is that there's a game every day. Same thing, completely runs you into the ground. But that's the challenge. Does it grind you to dust? So the Red Sox, as we know, went 4-5 on that 9-game road trip to start the second half. Everybody talked about the schedule. So 4-5 to start the second half, and then they swept Houston. So that made it 7-5. Now they've played the Padres. They lost 2 out of 3, so now they're 8-7. And now come the Astros. Then the schedule will soften up a little bit. So you get Miami, Baltimore, New York's in there. Not that that's necessarily super soft, but Baltimore again, the Pirates, some bad teams. So the Red Sox should be able to make some hay there. Here's what I'm getting at. By the time they're done with the Astros here, the roughest stretch is over. So they're 8-7 in 15 games right now. If you can come out of it, at the end of the day, you would have said if they went 500 in those 18 games, 9-9, you'd take it because they should be able to beat the mediocre and bad competition, and that will probably get them into the playoffs. If the Red Sox can finish 14 games over 500, and right now they're at 11, they would finish 88-74, and they would make the playoffs. I think that would constitute fulfilling expectations. I think that would be overall a half-decent year. And yet, I look at the series against the Padres, and I say, what could have been? Or I ask, what could have been? What could you have been if the trading deadlines that were put forth by the Red Sox and the Padres had been different? So that's where we start, 617-779-0985. I asked this question earlier on Felger and Mazz, and I'll ask it again to you. If you look at the series with San Diego, the Red Sox won the first one in a blowout. The last one wasn't an equivalent blowout, but the Padres controlled the game. They led 5-0. They won 6-2. Dylan Cease basically wore you out. So the outcome of the series really was decided by the middle game. If you ask me, I'd put the emphasis on the second game of the series because that was the one that either team could have won. And the Padres won it. So my question then to you is, what was the difference in the series? If you had to pinpoint a personnel thing or an organizational thing, a performance, a single thing, what was the difference in the series? And let me give you a couple of examples. And in fact, I would say maybe you can pick from one of these three. Was the difference in the series Dylan Cease? San Diego was entertaining offers for Dylan Cease at the deadline. He's making a lot of money. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. They asked the Red Sox for Jarren Duran as part of a package to get Dylan Cease. The Red Sox declined. Yesterday in the series finale, Cease was the difference in the game. And the Red Sox still lack what I would call a number 2 starter, a front-end starter. Most of this year, Cease has not pitched like a number 2 starter. The Red Sox tried to sell you Lucas Giolito and Brian Bayo, both of whom pitched in this series against the Padres and both of whom lost. Bayo went head-to-head with Cease and got beaten. So Dylan Cease, greater than Brian Bayo. The final numbers don't suggest it, the season numbers, but head-to-head, it wasn't really all that close. So I sort of feel like this series kind of illustrated or highlighted what the Red Sox are, which is a pretty good B-level team, a B-grade team that can beat bad competition and less talented competition, might even be able to beat average competition, but you put them up against a team with a lot of talent and, dare I say, star-studded, particularly in that lineup, Tatis, Machado, Arise, You're talking about MVPs, Rookie of the Year type candidates, and batting champions, and dynamic athletic players. The Red Sox don't have enough of those. The Padres do. Last year, I thought the Padres were a legit threat to win the World Series, and I feel the same way now. That San Diego team is fun to watch. That ballpark is jumping in the playoffs. It's a talented team, and now it has a deep bullpen. So again, the difference in the series, was it as simple as Dylan Cease? That if you had Dylan Cease and they had Bayo on the final day of that series, would you have won? And I'm just throwing Bayo on the other side just to flip the starting pitchers, but you get the idea. If they didn't have Dylan Cease and you did, would you have won the series? Or was it the bullpens? San Diego's bullpen is stacked. They have 5 or 6 guys in that bullpen, maybe even 7.
Try to go super pen.
Super pen, exactly right, Jimmy Stewart. That San Diego bullpen is now a super pen. Super pen. So they just bring one guy after the other. They roll them out there. They all throw in the high 90s. The ball moves. There's all kinds of stuff going on with that San Diego bullpen. From the left side, from the right side, velocity, movement, off speed. There's a lot to think about.
F the super pen, guys.
So was their bullpen ultimately the difference in the series? Because on Saturday, their bullpen was a big part of that win. Or, and this is sort of related to both, was it as simple as the trading deadline? Did the Padres go into the trading deadline and said, we've never won a World Series. We have been relatively close in the last few years. They haven't actually gotten to the World Series, but San Diego's had a very talented team. They've poured a lot of resources into it. They traded for Dylan Cease. They got Juan Soto and then flipped him. They have made all kinds of deals and maneuvers. They were the most active team in Major League Baseball at this year's trading deadline. So San Diego's all in, and they went all in, and they've been all in for a few years. They go all in. They fortify their roster. They beat you head-to-head. Your answers at the deadline were Steven Matz and Dustin May. So is that the difference? Is it organizational commitment? Is it the Dylan Cease deal specifically? Is it the bullpens? The right answer is that it's all some combination of all those things. But if you ask me, I think it starts with the organizational commitment, and the rest of the stuff spins off of that. So 617-779-0985. We'll talk about the series. We'll talk about San Diego's level of commitment versus the Red Sox. Alex Cora commented on the performance of those two teams and the bullpens in particular. We'll tell you what he said. And there was a play on that game on Saturday night. I shouldn't say a play. I should say an at-bat. That I think really crystallizes what is the biggest problem for the Red Sox as they face good competition, and should they see it again in the postseason. And I think there's a pretty decent chance they're going to get there. Jimmy, I don't know if there's a way to look up, or maybe Jay can look up, someone back there, what the Red Sox current postseason odds are. They got to be over 50%, right?
91% to make the postseason.
It's that high? It's that high? 91%?
91.
Okay, so there you go. The Red Sox chances of making the playoffs right now, 91%. San Diego's got to be pretty high, too. Is there a way to find that one?
Stand by.
I know I'm throwing this at you, so I apologize for that in advance.
91% for San Diego to make the postseason.
Okay, so there you go. The likelihood is that both of those teams are going to be in the playoffs. And when you get to the playoffs, and I know San Diego's in the other league, but the point is, these are the caliber of teams you're going to run into. You're not going to run into the Baltimores and the Minnesotas and the garbage in the American League, although you might run into a couple of those in the American League playoffs. Because the American League, if you didn't notice, blows.
Red Sox have an 11% chance to win the World Series. San Diego's at 7%.
Okay, so the Red Sox chance, probably just because the league is weaker.
Oh, I'm sorry. San Diego's at 3%.
San Diego's at 3% to win the World Series?
That's correct.
You probably get pretty good odds on them to win it.
I think we know a guy.
Get Joe Murray on the phone.
He'll be in 45 minutes.
Okay, I can actually text Joe Murray and find out what those odds are.
No. Paper trail. You don't want to do that. Just do it in person.
Maybe we can actually even look it up on DraftKings.com. That'd be a good way to do it. What the World Series odds are on the Padres. I kind of like that one. That'd be a good one to make. Anyway, 617-779-0985. We'll get to all that. We'll get to your phone calls. Don't go anywhere for the next 45 minutes or so, the baseball hour.
The Baseball Hour. Heal your joint at bostonprolotherapy.com.
Big leagues, right? That's something that we didn't have before, and we can play that game too. I think, obviously, in October, that's going to be very interesting with the off days and all that. And you look around, you're like, oh, hey, if you got a good bullpen, you can play that game too. So, but first things first, go to Houston, play good baseball.
Whitlock, Aroldis Chapman. You get Justin Slayton back, I'd feel a little bit better about it, though hard to know. I did find that comment interesting, though, that San Diego's got the best bullpen in the big leagues. And Cora says, we have the third best. So I was asking this earlier, and I would love for someone who's probably a little more dialed in to the full landscape of MLB to tell me who the second best bullpen is. If the Padres are number one, and by the way, if you're going by ERA, San Diego's 3.04 ERA from its relievers is number one in the game. Okay, so they have the best relief corps based on ERA in all of baseball. If you go by strikeouts, San Diego 7th. You want to go by whip, San Diego is 2nd. You want to go by batting average, San Diego is 2nd. The team that is first in batting average and whip is Houston. So am I to assume that Cora means that the Astros have the second best bullpen in the game? I'm guessing he means Houston.
I kind of think that the Dodgers, based on the fact that they lead the majors in bullpen strikeouts.
Okay, so it could be the Dodgers, Jimmy. I'll take your word for it.
And he loves Dave Roberts too, so
yeah, it could be the Dodgers. I mean, I'm seriously asking.
I don't know either. I'm guessing too.
I'm seriously asking. No, I know you are. I'm just saying. I'm seriously asking if someone out there can tell me who Cora did not identify who he thought was the second best bullpen in baseball was. He says the Red Sox are third, according to this. And again, I'm just going by ERA now, which is an easy metric. The Red Sox are the fifth. So, I mean, that's pretty good. I always think wins and losses in the bullpen end up being a key thing. So, fewest bullpen losses in the game, Cleveland. San Diego's tied for 9th.
Maybe the Giants, that San Francisco bullpen?
Could be, although, let's see. They have the same number of losses as the Padres, so certainly possible, Jimmy. 3.28. Is the San Francisco ERA, so that is very good. According to that, they're the second best, so it could be them. Just quickly, I've always said this, that the win-losses of your bullpen ends up being a key stat, because most teams will tell you, or most baseball people now tell you, ERA is deceiving. What they try to count more than anything is scoreless outings when they're evaluating relievers. Are you brought in? How many times you're brought into the game, and how many times you leave without giving up a run? So, in other words, if you have one bad outing, but you give up 4 runs, that takes your ERA and just completely F's it up. But, meanwhile, you fail to allow a run in 9 of 10 outings, which is good. The one thing about the Red Sox that's always alarmed me, their relievers are 25 and 24, so their bullpen losses are high. They have the 7th most bullpen losses in baseball, tied for 7th. So it tells me they're losing games late. Now, is that because could be earlier in the year when they weren't hitting, impossible situations because their offense couldn't score? We'll get to more of that in a minute because that's what happened in the game on Saturday night. But, Cora's confident in his bullpen is what that comment tells me. And if Cora's confident in the bullpen, he's certainly confident in his ability to use it. He believes that they can be good competition. You tell me. Because I don't think they're quite good enough. And I think this is where they get separated. The Red Sox are a, dare I say, Tier 2 team. If Tier 3 is dead in the middle, I would put them in the middle or bottom of Tier 2. And, they maybe they're higher than that and top of Tier 2, but they're not Tier 1. And I think San Diego is. Jay's in Marblehead. Jay, go ahead. Jay, you there?
Yeah, sorry. You've given me my favorite line when it comes to baseball, which is water finds its level. It's been on my mind that it's not so much the on-field where that really applies so much as the front office ownership and on-field. And I feel like it's top heavy, front heavy. I feel like there's more drive coming from the players, which is normal, but I feel like they could have done more, even if it was just finding a way to extend Bregman when they failed at the trade deadline. And I feel like the front office is really letting down the players and the fans by not making this team that is better than it should be, better than it can be.
Okay, so Jay, look, the Bregman thing, I understand your point as it pertains to the commitment and sort of aggressiveness of the front office, but Bregman the signing of Bregman really doesn't affect this season. In fact, if anything, it might help him. Because by not extending Bregman, they are giving him the lure, or maybe he is electing it, to get to free agency. Right? Bregman can opt out of the contract if he doesn't get an extension. So he clearly wasn't happy with what the Red Sox were offering. Said that the negotiations have been tabled or stopped or eliminated entirely. But whatever it is, you get the idea. If Bregman wants to hit the market in November, well, then he needs to perform in the final couple of months or final, call it 6.5, 7 weeks. So because he's got money at stake. So that could help them. Now, you want to get to the trading deadline? I tend to agree with you. I think the Red Sox are most content, at least with this team this year, to sit at right around, let's call it 87, 88 wins. They finish in that area. They make the playoffs. They might even host some playoff games. And they'll generate some interest in the team. And it won't cost them a fortune because they didn't bring in a bunch of guys that they have to pay through the nose. San Diego has gone completely bonkers for a World Series. I mean, and I say bonkers as if it's a criticism, but I want to try to give you what the Padres' payroll is, because the Padres, I'm pretty sure, are in the top 5. We go to Ron in Boston. Ron, what do you got?
Hey, you got me, Mazz?
Yes, I got you. What do you got?
Mazz, we got to think this thing out here. This is not an ownership that's going to spend $700 million on Juan Soto when they paid $700 million to buy the club. They want to be philosophically just like the Boston Red Sox and lower. They're looking at Minnesota, St. Louis, a lot of other teams that are at $140 million. This is not what they're going to do. And intellectually,
Ron, you're confusing me a little bit here. First of all, to put them in the same breath as the Twins is preposterous. Okay, they're not the Minnesota Twins. So that's ridiculous. But the part of it are you saying they're going to spend or they're not going to spend?
No, absolutely not. They're not. They don't want Bregman back.
So they don't want him back on a multi-year deal. If Bregman opts in or doesn't opt out, which is really how it would be, Bregman is signed to a 3-year deal for $120 million that allows for opt-outs every year. So he chooses whether to come back. But if he does it, it will be for a max of 2 more years. Bregman has the choice. So they get now, again, Bregman's got the flexibility. He wants a longer deal. There's every chance Bregman could be back on a $40 million deal for the next 2 years. If he gets hurt, it's a lock. Guaranteed. He's not going to go into the free agent market if he hurts that quad again. And frankly, the fact that he hurt it a second time makes me wonder how many teams will shy away from him if he does. Now, your general premise, though, I agree with. I don't think the Red Sox want to go to extreme lengths. So again, and here's the disagreement I have with the Red Sox on this. The Dodgers' payroll is $406 million. That's a luxury tax payroll. Nobody is going to that other than the Dodgers. The Mets are at 340, 338. The Yankees are at 316, or really 317. Philly is at 308. I have a hard time believing the Red Sox are going to go into $300 million. Right now, the tax payroll for the Red Sox is $243. That puts them 8th. So the other teams spending more than them are Toronto, San Diego, and Houston. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect the Red Sox to spend what those teams spend. That to me, now again, over 300 into the $400 million range, I don't know if they're going to go there. But that's not what I'm blaming them for. I'm blaming them for not going into the 280s. The revenues have increased. I think everybody's revenues have increased. So to me, that is one that I think they should be willing to go to. And again, they're going to get their money back whenever, and they benefit in many other ways than just yearly cash flow. So, I'm not buying into the whole idea that they have to absolutely turn a profit every year because I don't think they do. Sean's in Marlboro. Go ahead, Sean.
Mazz, you are one of my favorite, if not my favorite, baseball person to listen to, and I'm going to call back another day with an actual just baseball question. But
go ahead.
Your point today makes no sense. If we traded for the let's say we switched the game 2 starters, well, the guy that we get is facing the San Diego lineup. He's facing a better lineup. If the Red Sox pitcher goes to San Diego, he has a better bullpen behind him. It's not apples to apples. Remember back in the early 2000s when Pedro would lose 1-0?
Sean, let me stop you just quickly, and I'm only putting you on hold. I didn't hang up on you. But my general point is this. In a big game, would you rather go in with Dylan Cease or Brian Bayo?
I think it's a coin flip.
Okay, I don't. But go ahead.
All right, but all my point is you can't base it on one game. Okay, it was the outcome it was, but if you look over the season, there's a reason why they have stats over the course of a season. So I think your opinion on this one specific topic is a little short-sighted.
No, I understand your point that San Diego's got a deeper lineup. It's a tougher lineup, so it's a harder one to pitch against, and that might mitigate the effectiveness of the pitcher. I understand that. I'm just telling you that the Red Sox needed pitching at the deadline, and they didn't add it. So, and to ask them to add a number 2 starter, the way you're discussing it, and I'm not telling you you're wrong, but the way you're discussing it means they're not going to win no matter what they do at the deadline because San Diego's just better on paper. And that could be true. But I've seen teams win with a little bit less if they have really good starting pitching. So, for example, the 2001 Astros, the 2001 Diamondbacks, were they better than the Yankees, or did they just have Johnson and Schilling? And they were able to win it. Or the Dodgers, and I'm going back a ways now, but the Dodgers in 88, there was no way they were better than the Oakland A's. The Reds in 90 were not better than the Oakland A's.
They had a super pen.
The Reds had a super pen. Very good, Jimmy.
Dibble, Charlton, Randy Myers.
Yep. And the Dodgers had Oral Hershiser, and Kirk Gibson hit a back-breaking home run in Game 1. We all remember that, right? And, the Gibson homer is what I mean. So there are times.
The Red Sox in 13, Lester, Lackey, Buchholz being out of his mind, and then Uehara and Tozawa out of the pen.
I mean, the Red Sox in 13 were not better than the Tigers.
They just outpitched them.
So, the Tigers were.
They had a Scherzer and a Verlander,
and they had David Ortiz. With the grand slam. So it can't. But you need pitch. If you don't have good pitching, you got no chance. You got no chance. So that's all my point is. That in order to beat a team like the Padres, the Red Sox need better front end pitching. Okay, because otherwise, what you said is absolutely true. Not only do you not have the better pitcher, you don't have the better lineup. So now, in an attempt to mitigate that lineup, you're sending a lesser pitcher. So who would you rather have pitching against that San Diego lineup? Cease or Giolito? That's what I'm getting at. Ryan Garvin's got your headlines here. When we come back, the play in Saturday night's game. At the end of the day, I feel like the middle game of that series was the pivotal game. But there was a sequence in that game that should make you, as a Red Sox fan, want to beat your head against the wall. It was infuriating. We'll tell you what that was when we come back on the Baseball Hour.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks. I think the correct answer is Dylan Cease, right? We're going with Dylan Cease. I'm going with Dylan Cease. Anyway, the Red Sox, they dropped 2 of 3 in San Diego over the weekend, but they are back at it tonight, beginning a 3-game set in Houston against the Astros. Garrett Crochet on the mound against the righty Christian Javier with a first pitch at 8:10. Mazz's guy, David Hamilton, he's been sent down to Worcester along with Chris Murphy, Giovanni Moran, and catcher Ali Sanchez have been called up. Pitcher Nick Burdi has been DFA'd. It was a shell day for the Patriots as they get ready for joint practice with the Minnesota Vikings. Drake May going 15 for 22 in the 11-on-11 drills in a rough final period, with May finishing 3 of 9. Some extracurricular NFL news. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford was in street clothes today as he continues to deal with a back issue keeping him out of practice. Eagles Pro Bowl guard Landon Dickerson could miss time this year as he is thought to have suffered a meniscus injury to his right knee. In college football, Texas opens the College AP Top 25 rankings as the number 1 team in college football. Wow, that's redundant. Receiving 25 first-place votes, just beating out Penn State, who had 23. And for my UFC people, today was a great day. The UFC will have a new broadcasting home in 2026. Dana White announced this morning that the UFC and Paramount have agreed on a 7-year, $7.7 billion deal that will give Paramount and CBS broadcasting rights on the UFC, including all numbered events, for free. That means pay-per-view. Numbered events mean pay-per-view. We're not paying for pay-per-view anymore. Today is a great day. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Cortica, Massachusetts' leading autism care team, offering immediate diagnosis and therapies for toddlers and preschoolers. Learn how Cortica can support your child's autism care journey at corticacare.com. That's corticacare.com. This is Boston's home for sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. My name is Ryan Garvin. Your next update in about 30 minutes.
You're listening to the Baseball Hour with Tony Mazz.
to start the inning at second.
I think you kind of move the runner here. You got advantage in this bullpen the longer it goes.
It shows bunt, pulls it away, takes ball one. This is not the way that Alex Cora has played it over the course of his managerial career, because he's rarely chosen, if ever, to bunt in extra innings.
I think the personnel and where teams are in their bullpen has a lot to do with it. 1-7 on the road in extras.
Story with the lead at second. Showing a bunt, flicks it foul.
Don't be so concerned with bunting for a hit. And that's what that looked like. If you're going to bunt, just put it down. Your speed instantly puts pressure on whoever fields it, even if it's a guy like Manny Machado. That, to me, looked more like a bunt for a hit.
Lunged at it, and he missed it.
Hey, see how he's falling out of that zone? He's almost like he's running first. If it's just a sack bunt, don't move until you see the ball down. Or at least I get taking a shot in the first one, put the pressure on the D if you can do it. It's an area where he can maybe improve on, bunting for hits. But once you do that the first time, the second time you got to just square and put it down.
And he'll foul that one back, and he is out on strikes.
He's still moving out of the box.
Not a good effort by Hamilton.
And watch, just stay there. See that last body action going towards first base? That's taking his eye off the ball just that split second. Did 3 times in a row.
So this is the kind of thing, and I can only speak for myself, that sends me into orbit. But if you're a Red Sox fan and you want them to make some sort of postseason run, and you want them to beat good competition and find a way to overcome a talent deficiency against some of these teams, and most of them are in the National League, so that's, if not all of them. So that's the good news. That the teams that have an obvious and significant talent gap or advantage over the Red Sox are in the National League. San Diego's one of them. I don't know if San Diego's as good as the Phillies, the Mets, the Dodgers. I think they are. I think they're pretty damn close. They might not have quite the front-end pitching that a couple of those teams have in the starting rotation anyway, but their bullpen is freaking stacked. Stacked. But when you get into tight games, if you're the Red Sox against those types of teams, and Alex Cora believes the Red Sox have one of the best bullpens in baseball, when you match up bullpen against bullpen, you're going to have to manufacture a run. And you heard Dave O'Brien say it during the broadcast in that cut we just played. But in that situation, Alex Cora, in road games that have gone to extra innings, has played for 2 runs in the top half of the inning. The Red Sox are 1-7 on the road in extra innings this year. They were 0-7 until they got that one win. But what they've done is play for 2. They don't bunt. Remember, when you get into the postseason, there is no ghost runner anymore. You can play 25 innings if it comes to it. So manufacturing a run is going to be of the utmost importance. So Cora actually tried to bunt on Saturday night when they got the ghost runner on at second. David Hamilton comes up, and David Hamilton, who is basically... he's got a little bit of power, sometimes surprises you with it, but he's basically a slap hitter. Maybe that's not even fair, but he's a relatively low average hitter who's got great speed. His best plus asset is his speed. And that guy can't get a sacrifice bunt down on 3 tries because he doesn't know how to do it, or he's trying to bunt for a hit and being selfish instead of, so he wants to get the hit rather than move the runner over. And Lou Merlone talked about it during the highlight we just played. You can't get a freaking bunt down when you're that kind of player. You can't get it down. You're trying to bunt for a hit instead of just squaring up and moving the runner. Inexcusable. Cannot happen. Major fail. And Ryan Garvin, did I hear you right that he got sent back to AAA? Hallelujah. And I don't root for people to fail, but cut the crap. Get the bunt down. So the other thing is, think of the ramifications of that that Hamilton could overcome by putting the bunt on. In other words, let me articulate that better. Man on second, nobody out. If he bunts him over to third, now a sac fly gets the run home. And again, if you believe in your bullpen, maybe you power your way out of the next inning and you win the game. Take the chance. Except that Hamilton couldn't get it down. Here's the other thing. Let's say Hamilton does get the bunt down, but it's not a great bunt. It goes right back to the pitcher, and they throw out the runner at third base. Trevor Story gets thrown out. Now Hamilton's on first. His career success rate on stolen bases is 85%. Against relievers, many of whom have longer deliveries because they're so power-oriented. Some of them don't. Some of them are better at defending runners, but you get the idea. Even if Hamilton fails to advance the runner with the bunt, he can then steal second and get right back into the same spot. So, and now you're going to let the next guys hit away anyway. So you really haven't lost that much. But it starts with getting the bunt down. And this is something that could do in the Red Sox as much as anything else. Their inability to get bunts down, turn double plays, or shoddy defense, missing a cutoff man, bad base running, inability to put the ball in play. It'll be something fundamental that bites them in the ass. Along with the fact that their pitching isn't good enough. Starting pitching. So that's the one that sends me into orbit. Okay, fine. You want to put it on ownership and management for not going out and getting help at the deadline? You can blame them. Who do I blame for not being able to move the runner from second to third because he can't get a bunt down? Makes me want to beat my head against the wall. Get down the effing bunt. Holy crap. We're still doing this? Rick's in Weymouth. Rick, go ahead.
Hey, Mazz, thanks for taking my call. Hey, maybe I missed this. I'm a pretty avid listener, but I don't know why did they send Cooper Criswell down after he had 7 strong innings against Houston? I mean, did I miss something? Did he get hurt? I'm just saying, if they're begging for starting pitching and this kid's kind of getting a little hot streak, why wouldn't they keep him up here?
So, look, you're not the first person that's asked me that, Rick. I wouldn't call Criswell a kid, but he's 28, I think. You know, he's not 22. And actually, he's pitched pretty decent at Worcester as well this year in 15 games, 14 starts. He's got a 3.5 ERA. He basically came up to the Red Sox and replicated that when he was here. He pitched a good game against the Astros. Terrific game. Really, I thought that game was kind of the key to the series. They had Hunter Brown going that night. The Red Sox couldn't touch him for the first 6 innings of that game, and yet it was 1-0 going into the 7th, and the Red Sox rallied and won it. So, and that's the one, let me see if I get this right now. That was the one that ended with the Roman Anthony walk-off.
Yes. They sent him down because they got Dustin May, and they needed the roster spot.
Okay, so that's what it was. That was the Friday night game against Houston.
But also, they obviously view Criswell as a 4A starter.
Right. A swingman. Yep.
I need him for a couple long relief innings. I need him for a spot start. He's got options. He'll go back and forth between Boston and Worcester.
Correct. Yeah. Look, but I understand the caller's point. If he's hot and he's pitched well, why not have him here?
Because you acquired Dustin May, which you already have.
Okay. So again, would you rather have Criswell or Dustin May on the mound?
Criswell.
So this is what he's getting at. That Criswell should have the spot on the roster.
I'd rather forfeit the game than have Dustin May.
That's a fair one, Jimmy. Yeah, it's hard to go against that at this point. Paul's in Danvers. Paul, what do you got?
Hi, Tony. How are you? I love your show.
Thank you, Paul.
David Hamilton. I don't watch all the Red Sox, but I watch a lot of it, and my opinion is David Hamilton is the dumbest major leaguer I've ever seen. He doesn't know how to bunt the proper way. I saw him one time try to run advance from second to third on a ground ball to the pitcher.
David, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for the call. I don't know if he's the dumbest player I've ever seen, but I will say that thing the other night made him look like it.
It was actually a selfish play.
It was,
a sacrifice bunt. A bunt is supposed to be a sacrifice. You're sacrificing yourself for the betterment of the team. And on 4 attempts, he tried to bunt for a base hit. That's not what you were asked to do. And you can tell that he struggles with the bunt because he's pushing the bat at the baseball. You're supposed to let the bat absorb the baseball to get a good sac bunt down. No, he's bunting for a hit. That's selfish. That's not what you were asked to do.
So I don't disagree with the idea that it's selfish. And it's possible that he's never bunted any other way, but to me it felt like he was bunting for a hit. He was going one way and the bat was going the other. The bat was going towards the third base dugout. He was moving towards first. How the hell is he going to bunt the ball if he's doing that?
He's not.
So that was a stupid play. That I agree with the caller on. That was stupid.
Do you want to win the game or do you just want to get to first base so you can run around the bases like a jackass?
And Merloni said this during the broadcast, and it's a simple thing, but apparently it didn't register with David Hamilton. The priority there is to get the runner to third. That's the priority. He wanted to get both. He wanted to get the runner to third and get first. But if you can only get one, the job is to get the runner to third. He didn't do that. Huge fail. Frankly, I would argue that it's the kind of thing that warrants a demotion. If you can't get the bunt down, see you later. You're no good to us. Hans is in Winchester. Hans, what do you got?
Hey, Tony. I guess the nerds would confirm this, but I'm just questioning, why are they pitching Campbell in the bottom of the 9th inning at an away field when the game is tied? When, it's going to have to go to the 10th anyways. Why are they pitching him in the 9th?
So which game are you talking about now? Yesterday, or did he pitch?
Well, this weekend. Yeah, this weekend. Or it's like this week. I think it happened twice where I'm like, the game's tied. It's in the bottom of the 9th inning. They're at the away field. And I'm like, why is Campbell pitching when it's not a save opportunity for him? Like,
Isaiah
put Whitlock
Campbell?
in or someone else in. I don't get it.
Wait a minute. Do you mean Isaiah Campbell or do you mean Aroldis Chapman?
Chapman, I'm sorry. Chapman,
Okay.
That's my apologies.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you confused me with Campbell. So why are they pitching him on the road? I got you. In the 9th inning of a tie game when ideally you'd want to hold him for the save situation is what you're getting at. And here's what I'll tell you. I don't typically love it either. Teams do it. They're not the only ones. So it depends where they are in the lineup. And if they have a tougher spot in the lineup coming up, Cora doesn't see the point and holding out his closer and losing the game with a lesser reliever against, to call it the 2, 3, and 4 hitters on the opposing team. So if you're going through a stretch where you're going to get Tatis, Arise, and Machado, and I don't think those 3 guys bat in that order, but you get the idea. He would rather go Chapman there than go with someone else and lose the game with a lesser pitcher.
Remember in the Philadelphia series, he went to Chapman in the 7th inning for Schwarber, Harper, and somebody else?
Yes. Yep, and sometimes it works. So, and this is an analytics thing.
This is the bullpen by committee thing.
Yeah, this is a new age baseball thing. But in the same breath, Jimmy, I'll say they haven't been really a true bullpen by committee because they mostly use Chapman in save situations.
You're right about that, Tony. I think they've done it like 7 times this year where Chapman has come in non-save situations. They've gone to Whitlock or Weissert or Slayton for the save.
So it is, sometimes it's a little all over the place. At home, it makes sense. Because if you're in the 9th inning of a tie game at home, there is no save situation. You can't have it. You use your closer.
Plus, you can cheat better at home.
So that makes all the sense in the world. Cora sometimes does it based on where they are in the lineup. So again, I'd have to go back and look at the particulars. At this point, I've sort of accepted the fact that he does it. I don't like it every time, but I understand the law. At least I understand the logic. I'm trying to pass that on to you. It doesn't mean I always agree with it. Anyway, top of the hour here coming up. Ryan Garvin's going to have your headlines here in just a bit. Joe Murray will have you for the best rest of the night. We'll catch you next time.
This is the Baseball Hour on the Sports Hub.
Hey, it's Mazz from Big...